let's get to it. So I got a little time to burn because I got a little bit of a drive, right? So I always get this question: what truck should I buy? All right. Now I'm just gonna make this about me, and I'm gonna rephrase the question a couple of different ways. One, like I said, I'm gonna make it about me. What truck should I buy? All right. And two, I feel like if you asking that question, you really gotta do some research and talk to someone that's a little bit more familiar with trucks. All right, because the question should go not what truck should I buy, but which motor should I buy. All right. I know some people are gonna say this, that, and the other. Peterbilt, Freightliner, Volvo, yada yada yada. I'm gonna tell you, like I just said, it should be which motor should you buy? That should be your question. Which motor should I buy? Not which truck should I buy? Because you can get pretty much any motor in just about any truck, with the exception of a few. All right, and then them few exceptions you don't want anyway, in my opinion. All right. Secondly, do you go and buy a 2022? No, not unless you got some solid contract and this, that, and the other. You don't want that. All right, you just don't. Not unless you want to live in that motherfucker. And I'm not trying. I'm not trying to piss nobody off. I'm just being honest with you. You go out there and get your 2022, 2020, especially right now with the prices. And you're gonna live in that motherfucker. You ain't gonna have no choice but to live in that motherfucker. That I've been there and done something similar. Not something as bad, but something as similar. All right. So, again, which truck? Nope. Which motor? Me, personally, where I stand right now, I prefer the Cummins. Cummins N14. I would mess with the Detroit 60 series, which I have. As you see, I just got one rebuilt. But them two are the motors that I'm looking for. I've seen the Cummins IXX do a little decent. Can't complain. I've even had the Volvo I had. It did like 1.4 million miles on it. I'm not mad at that. But what I had to go through for it to get there was the issue. So that being said, you coming out here and depending on what you're trying to do, you need to what kind of truck you need and what your pocketbook looking like too. Because you could go get a nice kitty cat, but if you ain't got the money for them kitty cat parts, what good that's going to do you? Because the key to the game is staying consistent, and running and not staying in the shop or having a whole lot of downtime. But if that does come up and you run into a situation where you got downtime and stuff like that, then you're not about to go bankrupt. So I'm trying to be nice in the way I put it. I don't want to go into a rant about it. So I'm just trying to be nice and put it to you guys in a bit more professional. No, you don't want you don't want no newer truck. Unless if you got money to burn, go ahead. And you plan on staying OTR, go ahead. Again, that's why I said look at your situation. But you still should be looking at the motor, not the truck. Get the motor, then get your truck. I prefer Volvos. I hate a lot of things about Volvos, but I'm familiar with them now because I'd had so many problems with Volvos that I'm familiar with them to the point to where I know them. So if I'm going to tell you to buy your truck, buy the truck that's going to best fit you and fit your needs, because you're going to have to learn that truck. And once you learn that truck, the next truck after that, you're going to understand and know too, because ideally you're going to buy the simpler truck. All right. So don't go out there and buy something that you don't plan on sticking with or for the long haul. You know, buy that motor that you can understand. If I could pop the hood on the Volvo right now, I could point out this, that, this on the D12 motors because I know them just that well. And you want to get to know the motor that you plan on sticking with forever that well. I don't have that D12 no more, so that information is useless. So a lot of times when something happened on these other ones, I'm like, well, I remember on the Volvo it was over here where I could prime the truck, or I had to do this and that, and it's useless, and it's like I'm relearning something, you know. So you could just bypass all of that and just go after the motor that you need for the job, that's been recommended to you by plenty and many. I don't care how many different boards you jump on, or forums and so forth and so on, or how many people you ask. Usually it's going to be 3 motors that they're going to talk about. That should tell you right there. It's going to be 3 motors that mainly, if you're not dealing with Cali, of course, and emissions and so for whatnot, it's going to be 3 motors mainly that they're going to be talking about. It's going to be that Cummins N14, all right? It's going to be that Detroit 60 series, and it's going to be the Kitty Cat. It's going to be the 3 main motors. I don't care which forum you go on, Trucker Report, I don't care which driver you talk to who has experience with motors. They're going to be the 3 in that list right there. And if it's not that particular version, that motor is a version of it, M11, so forth and so on. You get what I'm saying? So I would say, without a doubt, I'm looking at between them 3 motors if I'm looking at getting a motor. So once I figure that out, I type that motor in, I do a search and whatnot, and then I find that motor in the truck that I prefer, which is Volvo. And I don't recommend Volvo to nobody. I just know Volvo. I know everything about Volvo. I know where not everything, but I'm comfortable with it, I should say. Fuse panel, I know where to look at. So to where if something happened, I can say, oh yeah, that's right down there, look over there. As far as the cab interior and things like that. So that's why I would recommend, you guys buying that motherfucker nice. Buying for the long haul right off the bat. I don't recommend new trucks, depending on the situation. We gotta add that in there, We gotta always put them little clause in there. But I know people sit up here and talk about downtime and breakdowns, but I know people with newer trucks that run into the same issue. Downtime, things like that. Everything's just bad right now because of COVID. Trying to get any work done on any truck is bad. You understand? God damn, he moving. So that being said, I recommend something pre-emissions if you can. Pre-emissions, meaning no EGR, no DEF, no DPF, something like that. All right. Cummins N14, Detroit 60 series, or if you're gonna do a Kitty Cat, go ahead. Those some strong ass motors, no lie. And then, as far as the particular truck, the smarter move would probably be Freightliner. That would be the smarter move. I like Volvo because I'm familiar with it and I'm comfortable with it, and it's got a comfortable ride. But the smarter move would definitely probably be Freightliner. It's more of them. You got the dealership support. It's just, for instance, around me, I think it's probably within a 60-mile radius or 80-mile radius, 3 Freightliner, or places that at least work on Freightliners or dedicated to Freightliners versus 1 Volvo and maybe 1 International. So the smart move would definitely be Freightliner. So if I had to do it all over again, me not knowing trucks, and me knowing a little bit about them now, I would have bought Cummins N14 motor, Freightliner truck, pre-emissions, 2000, you know, before the EGR and all that shit hit. And I'm trying to think here. Yeah, just all pre-emission, you know. So that would have been the truck that I should have or would buy or should have went after coming out here not knowing nothing about nothing. Them would have been my choice. Cummins N14 freight shaker, pre-emission truck, so before 2006 or 8. And I wouldn't spend more than 25,000 on the truck. It's not worth it. On what you're doing, but you can get a nice truck that's been well taken care of easily. 15 grand, 10 grand, shit like that. And this market is rough, I understand, but I found one. You know, I found one that was well taken care of. It had some high miles, you know, but you gotta expect that at that price. But you can get something for decent miles and stuff like that for about 20, 25. If you look around, there's still some deals out there. I definitely find them. I definitely look out. I definitely run across them here and there. It may not be the cleanest truck. You know, you might have to. You know, when you're dealing with these used trucks, it's gonna come with something. It's gonna be nasty inside. The driver didn't take care of it, something like that. So you're gonna have to put some sweat equity into it. You know. But for instance, the one Volvo I got. I ain't trying to sound like chasing or right here. Well, I'm chasing what he always yelling about his truck, how much he paid. But the one Volvo, that truck was $6,500. And that damn thing ain't pretty. I spent days cleaning it. Then one of my guys, when he was driving it, he spent days cleaning and put sweat equity into it and cleaning it to just get it to smell decent. I can sit up here and tell you all the problems with that truck. That truck out there getting it. That truck been paid for itself quad tenfold plus and counting. That truck for $6,500, and when I bought it, I said this motherfucker could break down right here on the expressway, and I wouldn't shed a fucking tear. You know, it ain't gonna hurt me. You know, that's barely a week worth of running to make that up, and that truck. And then some. Not saying all of them going to be like that. You know, start getting to know these trucks and getting into these trucks, you start noticing things. I noticed shit with my truck, for instance. I could be laying down. I was talking to my guy Twin about this shit. I could lay down and I could tell when my truck catch a miss because I know I'm so used to my truck idle in the way that it idle when it missed. I could be sleeping and I'll wake up out of my sleep. I know that bitch heartbeat that well. You get what I'm saying? That's how well I know my bitch's heartbeat. If her idle, stay with me, you know. If her idle skip a beat, I wake up out of my sleep. What was that? You get what I'm saying? That's how in tune I am to that damn that truck. And I'm like that with a lot of my vehicles, you know. Sorry, that's gonna happen. It always do. But even my cars, I'm like that. So, and I say you should be like that. You should be able to feel something. Like if you just heard that boom, like you just heard right there, and you didn't go over no rumble strips, you should be like, what was that? You know, where did it come from? Did it come from underneath? Did it come from, was that potentially the drive shaft? Was it, you know, you got to become damn near a mechanic. And as Dulos would say, Cuz would say, shit, you might want to take a mechanic course before you get out here and start messing with your truck. Because it just on basic stuff, because it's going to save you a lot. And it does, I'm not going to lie. I had my mechanic show me some minor things like caging a brake chamber, that, you know, you make that phone call at the wrong time of night, your brakes locked up, you smoking, shit like that, you know, man, that's a $500 bill for somebody to come out there and case break something you can do yourself quite easily. YouTube Academy, you know. So, you know, it's not gonna be the prettiest one. That 2022 gonna look nice. You know, it's gonna look real pretty. I used to hear people say this all the time too. They're like, "What's the truck out there that got that got making the most money? You think it's the newer one out there in the parking lot, or you think it's that ugly one right there with multicolors?" Most of the time, they not lying about that because people not overly invested in that truck. That truck could sit there before it had to get out there and run. You know, I know motherfuckers out here right now in 2022s that forced to get out there and run and go hard and pissed off because the rate's bad, you know? But who buys a 2022 in this market or right before this market? If you know anything about trucking, you know that's a bad move. You should know your markets. And that this ain't the market to do it. It's just not, you know, or right before it to do it. You want to keep your, and you, come on. At this point, we done heard this shit over and over and over. And how many times do we have to hear it to know that it's some truth and merit to this shit? You hear from more than most people. Keep your overhead low by any fucking means necessary. Keep your overhead low. The lower you keep your overhead, the better off you is. You're not forced to get out here and do this. You're not forced to do that. You're not forced to run like that. You could dictate a little more, move a little more, and adjust accordingly and still have somewhat of a life. You know, you got my guy HT, you know, I think he shuts down check out his channel. He give y'all too much game. Y'all don't need me. Y'all got HT out here, yeah? Just throwing away game. HT Logistics. He shuts down around this time of the year. And to me, that's fucking smart. It ain't worth it. The snow, the accidents, the rates, it ain't fucking worth it. If you got your shit together and you can do that, do it. I ain't got it like that. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I ain't got it like that. I still got to get out here. I just ain't got to go as hard. You get what I'm saying? I ain't got to go to Utah, Montana, Washington, and all that other shit. I ain't got to do that. I can just do my little local thing and I'm good. And I can survive off of that because my overhead is low. Overhead is real low. And I didn't have that when I first came out. I went out and bought a 40-something thousand, threw a whole pension at a damn 40-something thousand plus truck with fucking, oh my God, man. Overhead was insane. And I was circling the damn map. At first it was cool, but after that it was a means of survival, you know? When market went down, market went to shit and didn't know shit, and man, nah, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. And as Cuz would say, Dulos would say, it don't take all that. It really don't. You feel me? Coming out here in 2022 with a 2022 trailer, all these motherfucking amenities and out, it don't take all that. That 2000 and motherfucking 1, you know, pre-ELAD truck right there with that 08 or I don't even know what year the trailer is. I think it's a 08 that I got from Kevo. 08 trailer, gonna back up there and get that same motherfucking load that you getting in that 2022. We get, and matter of fact, I'm sorry about that, y'all. I'm in the middle of nowhere. But like I said, shout out to ATM. He'll tell you I ain't lying. Comment down there and tell him I ain't lying. Hardhead ass, west side ass nigga. But anyway, it just don't take all that. And cuz used to say this shit all the time to me. It never registered. It never registered. I'm circling this motherfucker, starving, struggling, begging for every dollar, out on a prayer and every damn thing else, truck breaking down, shit I never even heard of, things going. All right. So that being said, too, I don't give a fuck what who. It might need a little TLC. And before you even go get that truck, get yourself a mechanic. Get yourself a mechanic, a dedicated mechanic. Hell, 1, 2, 3. Get you multiples if you can. A mechanic that you know that you can trust and you rely on to work on yours. Because the other thing you ain't gonna be doing out here is going to the dealership. Don't go to the fucking dealership. It's 3 people. I was telling my driver this not too long ago. 3 people out here that you don't want to see. DOT, that's one. All right. DOT is one. State board, we're gonna say DOT, state board is the same. All right. DOT, the tow company, and the dealership. They all trying to fuck you. They all trying to fuck you. And I know this ain't the first time y'all done heard this shit. I know this ain't the first time y'all done heard this. All right. And if it is, believe that shit's the truth. And they out to make money, and they gonna tax your ass. It's business. It ain't nothing personal. They'll tow that pretty ass 2022 the same way they'll tow that 01. All right. But you could look around and you could find some decent little tow trucks. If you're local, you could find some in your area that'll work with you and give you better prices than, you know, some of these some places. You know, some places are more reasonable. You know, but it's about connections. Usually, them connections gonna come from your mechanic or through your mechanic. Shout out to KOT Repair, Des Moines, Iowa, and Colfax, Iowa. Shout out to them. They come through your mechanic, you know. So you know, that being said, find you a mechanic, solid mechanic, you know, and build up that relationship with the mechanics. Shout out to DMP. Build that relationship, man. That shit is highly, highly important. Because you're going to be on that phone with that mechanic, and you're going to be talking to him late at night sometimes, middle of the morning, shit like that. You get what I'm saying? So I'm going to have to get off of here, y'all, because my phone going to keep just going to keep going off. But moral of the story, find you a mechanic. Figure out what motor that mechanic prefer and work on. Find you more than one mechanic, and you know, put your and they're not gonna tell you to go. Most mechanics and people ain't gonna say go buy this specific motor, you know. And with this option and that, they not all gonna do that. They're gonna tell you what they prefer to work on, and if they prefer to work on that, that's what you want to fuck with, because you don't want to go out here and fuck with something that they hate working on, because they ain't gonna work on that motherfucker, or they gonna cuss you out the whole time. You know what I'm saying? So find you a mechanic, figure or 2 or multiple, figure out what motors they prefer to work on. Use that to make your decision to go buy that motor, and then go get that truck. All right. So that's what truck you should buy. Yeah, I know it ain't the answer y'all was looking for. Peterbilt 379 and all that other shit. Fuck out of here with that. Nah, you ain't graduated to that yet. You ain't graduated to that yet. You gotta earn your motherfucking dues out here. You know what I'm saying? Them guys driving them trucks, most of them didn't earn that shit. You know, they'd have been out here, did this, did that, and they could tell you everything down to the gear ratio. You get what I'm saying? All of that shit. So that being said, that's what truck to buy. Just wanted to throw that out, help y'all out. Since I had a little drive, I might do it again a little bit later on, because I got to drive right back. And I hope that helped y'all out, since y'all be looking for that information and whatnot. You know, now you got that information. All right. So y'all be easy. Till next time.